Begin whenever you're ready.
Alright, so good afternoon. I'm Eric Martinez and we are the BBCSM. So this is Salvador Lucas and then Richard Hennick. We are again BBCSM. I was first introduced into SeaPerch last year, my junior year. I really enjoyed it. I had fun building the rover, actually swimming it, and then just seeing the process that we did day by day until the day of competition. So that's why I came back and I did it this year. And they were both introduced to it this year. So I was kind of like the lead for the team. I guided them and I taught them how to build it, design it, and then my ideas of what we could do to help, I guess, get better at competition than what we did last year. So last year I just created the original design of the rover, and I told them that it was great, but I wanted to do something a little bit smaller so we could actually maneuver faster in the water, because I noticed that last year, since it was a bigger model, it would kind of maneuver a little bit slower than other perches, and it was kind of difficult to move into the rings. So I told them that we should make the exact same model, but just really like miniature. So that's what we did. We created the miniature one, and his name is Wally. That's what we named him. And this year at competition, we kind of noticed that it did actually benefit us a lot. We actually maneuvered a lot faster than all the other perches. We came out first in both competitions, and that's what I wanted to do. Leaving into my graduating, I kind of wanted to give them that initial design so they can continue that next year when they continue doing SeaPerch, and then just going along throughout the years. So that's basically my introduction to the team. I'll now pass it on over to Richard, who will talk about the problem and the solution.
So our problem is pollution in our waterways. A few weeks ago, it came to our attention that a plastic bag had been found in the Challenger Deep portion of the Marianas Trench, the deepest part of the ocean, which is 36,010 feet below sea level. A plastic Walmart bag was found at the bottom of the ocean. And so that when that came to us, we realized that this problem is getting serious. So that was another part of our drive to make this better, because all three of us, we all live in Florida right near the beach, and we don't want our beaches or our waterways where we have fun to turn into giant garbage cans. And our solution is this rover. Our solution would be to kind of create almost a class inside of high school, like an environmental protection class, that we could have kids do this, and it would be another introduction to STEM. So maybe if kids wanted to have like a slight introduction to it, this would be mechanical and mostly science, technology, engineering. And it would be a fun way to do it and very easy to do. And that would really help kids decide if they wanted to do it. And plus, it would impact the environment by cleaning up these canals around us. So it's kind of a two birds with one stone situation. So.
I'm gonna read about the costs about it. Like, if it were up to me, I'd rather have the propeller tangled, in the rising slime than a manometer drawing from the finishing line. Like, you know how this didn't quite, it helped us a lot during competition, but we were planning on putting a line, like a fishing pole line on it, but then we came to a conclusion that no, this is better than the little fishing line that we were thinking of.
Okay, what was the purpose behind the fishing line?
It was like, imagine like a parasailer kind of being dragged behind to collect things in open water, but once we realized that we thought about it, stuff that would be caught against the edges, we wouldn't be able to just drive it straight into the wall and hope that the bucket would come flying back and catch it. So
Okay.
we found that to be unreasonable.
Okay.
So we based our idea off of the actual idea in the book. It's an exact 2-scale, just miniature version. And like when we first started it, we wanted it to be for competition, going in and out of the little hoops. But once we realized about this problem, we decided to make it a little bit more powerful, and so we'll be able to pick up more trash at once. So even though it is smaller and it won't be able to collect as much trash as the other groups because theirs are bigger, ours will be able to do it in faster times going around to collect each trash.
What design challenges did you guys come across when you were miniaturizing this?
One thing that I noticed is that like it was kind of hard to like balance it out at first, because like the first time we actually tried it out, we were like kind of leaning too much to one side than the other. So we had to like figure out sorry, like that's for like floaties, like the sizes, so we can actually like be balanced. And that was for me. That was the only competition I saw.
Okay.
I would say the power to weight ratio was a bit off in the beginning because it was so light and so just really light, and these little propellers would just shoot it.
Okay.
So these little floaties, they do keep it really nice and slow and controllable, not just the second that I push up on the control a little bit, it just goes flying. So that is something that we came to.
Okay.
Do you see anything?
Well, the only problem I had was when we were constructing it, it was a bit tough to get the like exact size so that it would be balanced out when we're actually fishing or like putting it down in there.
Okay.
And yeah, that was
Tough to get the exact size. How come?
Well, cause like in order enough to be even on both sides,
Okay.
so that it wouldn't float on just one side and
You-
then.
Oh, okay, I got you. Where its center of gravity was.
Yeah, center of
Yes.
mass.
Center of mass. Okay. All right. How many design iterations did you guys do with that? Meaning, you built the one, and then you're like, yeah, this isn't small enough yet, and then we need to make it smaller. Okay, well, now it's too small. Now we have buoyancy issues. Now we have weight issues or whatever.
So what I said that we're gonna do first was just create the actual like original model, and then kind of just like scale it down from there. So first we cut down like a few inches, and then we'll cut down like an inch, and then be like, oh, it's still pretty big. So we just kept cutting down until we actually got like the right format that we wanted. And that was basically it. So we just had that original design and just kept making it smaller and smaller, so we were comfortable with it.
Okay.
Yes.
So 3.
Like 3 or 4 times, yes.
I believe it was 4, because at
Yeah.
first we started off with like the kind of like our made up thing, and then that's when we're like, okay, maybe this is a bit crazy.
Yeah. So like 4 times.
Okay. So as you were building this thing, did you guys find any technique that was unique to your team or your build that you developed, like a way to solder the boards, or a way to make sure all your measurements were coming out right? Was there anything that you guys came across for your team?
Well, with the soldering, we found like a little sweet spot, and that only which I would know, and we'd have him as the guy that would be the, I don't know what you want to call it, the sucker, I guess. And he would be holding it, but eventually, like some days, one of us won't be able to be there.
Uh-huh.
So we found some more of these little floaties in the back, and they're gentle enough that you could lay the board down on it, and it wouldn't really harm the integrity of the board itself. So it would keep it stable without harming it. So that was a bit of a process that we went through.
Okay. That's smart. All right. What about trade-offs that you had to account for in your design, meaning because it was so small, now you're thinking, okay, am I going to be able to pick up and carry something heavy?
The trade-off would be like what Richard had said, the fishing line. Like we didn't want to like risk it like carrying too much or not carrying enough or hitting the edges. So that was one trade-off that we that we saw. Another thing I wanted to add, but I didn't mention it to the team, was I actually kind of wanted to add like robotic arms, like we mentioned in the beginning. But then I noticed that like our design was a little bit smaller, so like I feel like it like imbalance it. So that's why we didn't. I never brought it up to the team because it'd be hard and difficult to like balance it out.
Okay. Or you'd have to account for the weight on the back end,
Yes.
opposing that arm, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if you had to do this again, what recommendations would you have if somebody was building this thing on how they design it?
One recommendation that I would definitely give is basically make it so it's equal throughout. At first, it was we had to tinker with it a lot, and when I mean a lot, I mean a lot. It was almost like every single day. It was just messing with it, and just all these little measurements are what really counted. So I would just say to make sure that it's try to be as equal as possible, and also in the beginning, don't have some big crazy idea like, oh, we want cannons on it or something like that. Keep it realistic and also project based. Not, let's say, yeah, we're gonna go collect trash, but we need, I don't know, a torpedo on it or something like that.
Okay. All right. You guys got questions? Sean?
What is
Sorry.
the biggest thing that each of you took away from the whole project?
The biggest thing that I took away from the project is that robotics and stuff like this is a lot easier than I thought it would be. Because at first I thought it was going to be some sort of like Albert Einstein required IQ.
Electronics.
Yeah, so I was a bit nervous at first. I really was never a science person, but after getting into this, I definitely will be checking out science more often, and it kind of opened me up to that.
For me, it was the circuit board. We had problems doing this because the soldering part was kind of difficult for us at the beginning, but then the second time we tried it, we got used to it, and we finally actually got it to work. And that's the thing that helped, well, me know, like, oh, how to know, because I didn't know anything about it first off, but then I got used to it, and I'm like, okay, next time I know how to actually do this, but correctly.
Awesome.
For me, like I said, it's my senior year, so this year I basically took everything I could to like learn as much as I can, and this definitely helped. Like what Richard said, he wanted to like learn how to design it and stuff like that. So I'm basically like taking this knowledge and like I'm enlisting to the army, so I want to see like what things I can do to help like the army and like this and like connect it together and see what I can do.
Problem solving.
Yeah, problem solving. So that's basically what I took out of it the most.
Great.
Good job.
So guys, are we giving feedback or at the end?
At the end.
Everyone collectively? Good job.
All right. Thank you.
Hey,